Chris, thank you for coming on board. I would like to make an announcement before we get started. Lee Wolf is on assignment. He's been out for a few weeks now, so we'll look forward to seeing him back. So anyway, Chris, I mean, I see what you do more or less, and I want to talk about more. First of all, your store has great reviews, and first of all, you're doing a tremendous job. But the most important thing is what you're doing for that customer that's in the market for a car. I see it like you're more of a coach and you're more of a mentor. Tell me how you got to that type of level, because at one time you were a manager, this, that, but now you're like a whole different type of level. Could you share that with us?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. First off, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Everybody that comes on to watch, I really appreciate it as always. Yeah. So when I came into the business, I was fortunate to be around a group of guys who really wanted to change the misconception of the relationship between the salesperson and the customer in a car business. Right. It's not supposed to be this white knuckle argue and hash it out. Like it's not. It's supposed to be in a fun experience, right? Like just because we have to buy it doesn't mean it's supposed to be a painful experience like going to the dentist, right? Especially for people that at least they want to buy it every 3 years. Like it should be fun, right? So I take pride in being like a walking CNA sheet, but also at the same time to bring the customer and find exactly what they want, never feeling pressured, always feeling helpful, right? So that's my job, right? And quickly talk to the customer, listen to the customer and narrow it down and really find out what works best for them. That's the goal.
And the biggest thing, when somebody starts their shopping process, I mean, we basically know more or less because we generate leads and all that stuff. When they start the buying process, they're starting the buying process. Sometimes it takes 60 days before that customer. We nurture every lead from dealerships or anything we generate, we nurture. So we notice that the customer might tell us 5 or 6 times they're just not ready. So we build that virtual relationship with an SMS, with making the phone calls, with setting up the appointments. It's a process, right? But
Yeah.
within that process, we've learned is that the customers today want certain information that you have to share. So once you integrate what you do, right, into it, we believe that really works. That coaching, that mentoring, that educating the customer in that process. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. And the modern buyer is right there, right? So look at all the percentages, all the things we've learned over time, right? People used to go to 3 dealerships, now it's just over one. You can do the math, right? But there's also a human element that has to be connected somewhere here, right? If not, Carvana, all these things would have already taken over the world, right? There's nothing beats convenience unless there's connection, right? So the key is I break it down into kind of two sections, right? If you're a new car buyer, you want to buy Honda versus other brands, or you already want Honda and you're going against all the other Hondas, right? So I treat everybody like the same way. And like, I'm going to show you why this Honda in particular would be perfect for you. Oh, it's smart that you want that other brand. Like it's all about just finding out what it works for the customer and making it the experience tailored, especially for them. They are the most important part of our process, customers.
I know that your marketplace and doesn't do a lot of lease. Is that correct? Am I saying something
Oh,
right or wrong?
particularly, yeah, I think it's more because of this brand. Our area does a ton of lease, but I feel like when you have a strong brand, they just really like to buy that brand, maybe even trade out a little faster. But yeah, it seems typically a higher buy market here,
Right.
especially
And
recently.
that is a retirement area. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. This is an extremely high uh, population of dense retirees.
And when the process begins, so let's say you have a customer and that customer, hey Chris, you know what? I'm in the market. I just moved out here a few years ago. I'm in the market for a vehicle and I reach out to you. What would you say the buying process that you have that is a little bit different than the rest?
Um, probably because of the intention behind, right? The intention behind is retention all the time. If it's going to be service retention, sale retention, whatever. The first thing when I meet somebody that's, oh, thank you so much. You moved down here. We want you to do all your service and business and sales and everything here. It's really nice to meet you. We're glad you would come in. I just want to make that dynamic goes smooth, right? So if you have a majority of second home buyers and people that are close to retirement, they want to belong somewhere else now, right? So they might have been buying their car in Pennsylvania for 30 years, but now they're going to be down here and they want to belong down here. It's about the transition of you belong, right? We all transitioned here to a local at some point. I like to view on that aspect, like, hey, you're one of us now. Come with us. That's kind of like my entrance to that type of situation.
The automotive business, I've seen it change a lot. It used to be called sales people. Then it became, sales professional. But it was always with Honda, it was always sales consultant, right? So you always got that award, either silver, gold, or whatever, as a sales consultant. By the way, I started with Honda. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
That's where I started. So I know more or less the Honda community pretty well, but it was always sales consultant, right? Now, there's a reason why it was always sales consultant, because Honda always wanted you to consult your customer, right? Educate your customer, right? And keep a customer for a long time. Honda had at one time it's tremendously high retention in the dealership brand and in the Honda brand. So there's two types of things. And it was because of that process that they had for years, and they still have it, where sales leadership consultant, which is a beautiful way of you identifying your professional salespeople, right? And what do you think about the process that Honda has?
It's second to none, right? I'm just getting into it now, so I get to see a lot of the stuff like from the outside. I also get to see things from an experienced salesperson, but I love the professionalism around new car sales, because there's like a fine line, right? Like, I can't just be running around and being like, oh yeah, hey dude, hey, like there comes a day like I really do know what I'm doing. There's in every aspect of the deal, but the professionalism really sets the tone. And when you work for a dealer like I do, who takes such good care of their customers and their showroom, and always being up to date and things like that, I never have an issue on that end. And I believe that that's because Honda is keeps that as part of their core, right? They really want you to work with a professional. When you walk in, they want the person to say, yeah, I feel comfortable about a Honda, and that's what I want to do too.
Right. Honda has a unique customer,
Mm-hmm.
an educated consumer. It's the first thing with Honda. A customer that knows the depreciation values. That's why they get either a Honda or Toyota, whatever. And do you educate them based on, when there's a comparison, they're comparing you to XYZ vehicle, that whole sales process? Are you educating that customer where the value with your brand versus other brands is?
Oh, 100%. That's my number one goal, right? I know my competitor as well as I know me. I came from
Right.
Subaru, so Subaru is Honda's number one competitor. I can match you up with the trim level that you're looking at versus that. I've also learned Toyota over time, because that was my main competitor with Subaru. So I learned Honda when I was with Subaru, right? So the first thing that I do every time, is what everybody should do, is, wow, what other car are you looking at? That's a great choice. Let me explain why mine is just as good or better. And this is why, like, we have to feed into the relationship with the customer, right? Like, the most important part is hello. Like, my intention is great. If they're iced up the whole time and don't listen to me, like, there's a really fine line to where I'm really just talking at them. And that's the last thing that I want to do. I want to be a listener and apply what I listen and learn to make it a shorter, more fun, more productive process. So that's kind of like my overall goal. And I take all of my knowledge to do that, right? Like, my knowledge from finance, my knowledge from desk manager. Like, I came back to sales because I love sales the most. I ended up back in a great position in sales. Like, so I believe that this is what my journey was meant to be, right? To be the all around sales knowledge and everything. you know.
And one of the things that I've noticed with you, Chris, it's really, really good that it's a quality that you have. You don't talk much, but boy, do you listen. You have a listening ability that's next to none. And what I've noticed the way you are is you listen with the intent to understand. You listen to me with the intent to understand me and not to respond. And that's so important when you're dealing with customers' wants and needs, right? Which means you're going to put them in the right vehicle. You're going to give them the right education to purchase the vehicle. And man, let me tell you, I've seen talents out there, and you have one of the nicest talents there is, which is listening to understand and listening to the customer. Because if you listen to us, right, when we reached out and you reached out, you listen, and that's great because everything starts with a conversation. Once the customer sees the way you are with that listening ability, it's just things are going to get so much better, and it's going to be the funnel's going to be easier to the road to the sale. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. I mean, honestly, and if it's our fault, if it's customer's experience, it's whatever fault, you still have a small percentage that comes through the door and looks at us a certain way, right? So it's always like, how do I act when I'm at my worst? How do I act when I'm at my best, right? Like, I'm going to be great when everybody's like, oh, hey, cool, right? So when you get the problem customer, you realize that, like, a lot of the times it's because of fear and misconception. It has nothing to do with the customer's anger or want to be here or wanting to make things difficult. If I listen, find that problem, stick to that problem, and prove that I'm trying to be a solver of problems for the customer, everything else is going to go right along because they want to buy a car, they want to buy this car, and they want to buy it from here and from me. That's my only goal. Like, that is the entire thing, the connection of our business between us and the customer. That's what I believe. That's what I tell young people starting in the business, everything.
That's awesome. Hey, Chris, is there any incentives with Honda right now?
Yeah, so there's a couple different programs the rest of this month. They usually have some really low financing and loyalty and some things like that are all different on VIN specific choices. So yes, the rest of this month are very good inventory, very good programs. I'd love to go over anything specific. Again, it goes car by car, so it depends what you're looking for. But yes, great program.
Great. So they do have some good incentives for the consumers to
Yep.
come in and visit you and get some vehicles.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the dealership that we offer and the protections and offer and our certification program, we're all about taking care of the customer well after the sale, before, during, after the sale. That's beer in our head, before, during, and after the sale. You come in, you see my customers talking to me when I get coffee because everybody makes fun of me because I drink the most coffee. It's like a friendly atmosphere always. You know. I have people come back to me every 6 months or whenever the clocks change, which is still a thing, but that's always my favorite part, man. I have my 5 clocks I got to change. Like, that's just part of being a small town guy, a small town store.
That's awesome, Chris. Let me ask you a question. What is your next Honda store? What is your next competitor that has a Honda store by you there?
It would be up the road, Boardwalk. Very good store, too.
Let me ask you a question. What is the value? Let's say I'm a customer and I go to your store. What is the difference between your store and that other store you just mentioned?
And the only difference would be the people that we have in place, right? The people that we have in place, our sales team, our management team, our service team, everything, right? Is to focus on the customer. And especially when you're local, we want you to do business here, have pride here. We want we want everybody to be happy. So yes, it's the people and the processes that are in place that are going to make us second to none, regardless of the actual other name on the building.
Wow. Okay. And how is your service department rates? What type of service department you got? Is it?
I mean, second to none. Again, and I don't say like sparingly. Like, I came from another local store, and like one of my biggest concerns was I wanted to be at a very customer centric, customer friendly service department, right? And like when I came here, I was like, wow, it was like second to none. Their process from the beginning to end, where they bring the customer in to how the customer is integrated into the service area and back at the end. I mean, like that, that is such a relief, because I had those problems in the past, and I have customers who come to me for everything, right? So like, I want to be sure that when I tell them they're going to be taken care of, they are, and here they are, and that's why I came here.
Well, I've seen your brand. It looks like a really, really good brand. I've seen you, which it really, really, I think you're more educating your customers and converting them. How is your sales overall in the store?
Oh yeah, I mean, our sales are great, especially for such a small area that we are from. Well, we capitalize on sales because we do all the little things right. Um, so at the end of the day, if your processes are right or your people are right, all the people are in the right places, like everything works out regardless of the size. I think personally, from what I hear from experience and other people enjoy this small store experience, especially when they're coming from a big market or a big city market. So that's why I really can, really love talking to people who are just starting the process of retiring down here or spending more time down here than they were in the past, and really convert them to our whole store, like our whole feel. The service, the body shop. I've never worked somewhere with a body shop. It's incredible and have everything in one spot.
Right, and that's great. That's great for retention. That's great for the customer. That's great to know, and that is a tremendous value. Does your other competitor have a body shop?
I'll be honest with you, like I don't know for a fact, like if they do. I just knew that down here there was very few in between. Where we are is an interesting world because Calumet County is us. Atlantic is next, and that's where it gets, busy again. So there's very few resources down here, and even if you have a couple near you with the body shop, it's a process of handing your customer over from your service department and back. That's the that's the part. So I don't know if they do per se, but I just know that what we do is the best. I don't focus on my competition as much.
Well, here's the thing, Liz. We got to answer this. Hello, watching live. Say hello to my friend, the community car guy, which is great. Uh, the whole thing with having a body shop, the state of Florida and the state of Texas has a lot of that, right? And I have noticed that their retention is much higher than anywhere else. Like we have something called a VIN retention tool that you can go and analyze if you're retaining customers. They have a great retention in sales and a great retention in service. And let me say why that is. If I get into a car accident, okay, and my local dealer does not have a body shop, I'm going to go to other local body shops, right? They might be a total. I might not go back to your store and buy it. As you have it in your location, in your facility, that customer is going to get turned on to you. So at least you have an opportunity to talk to the customer first.
Yeah, honestly, I agree too. There's even a little bit more is in between, right? So even if you don't have the body shop, the first place that gets the call when an accident happens, other than insurance, is your guy. Oh, Mike,
Right.
I know I get my oil changes, but I got this right. If your guy doesn't have a body shop at his disposal, he's immediately going to try to uncomplicate your life and say, "Hey, why don't you just take it there and we'll get it looked at?" There's a huge gap, man. There's a huge
Right.
gap. But what if it wasn't totaled, right? Now we lost that. We lost a chance to do more service. Maybe it's still in a good place where we could appraise the car and get value out of it. Like there's a whole part of the process that gets skipped, that I love having.
And that's a great tool to be able to do that to your customers.
Yeah, definitely.
And
It's
you
just
know
what you
what
be
they
there,
say,
right?
the average customer, I mean, I think it's like 15 to 22% gets in a car accident the first year of the vehicle. You know,
Yeah, tied.
it's a lot. It's a lot of numbers, and wow, that's like unbelievable that happens. We're going to take a little bit of break for one of our sponsors, okay?
We continue to show dealerships across the country how to retain their customers. But now Shop Smart Autos wants to bring the new customers right to your showroom floor. The car they want? It's sitting on your lot, and Shop Smart Autos can bring you the VIN-specific leads that take them straight to your door. These aren't just leads. They're nurtured, targeted, and matched down to the exact vehicle. You'll sell more cars faster, and your team is going to thank you for it. Shop Smart Autos VIN-specific leads. Let SSA show them the way to your showroom floor.
So that's a great, really product you have. Let me ask you a question. Do you guys offer loaner services there?
So our loaner service program is a little bit complicated because we only have a small fleet compared to our thing. So it's not something that like we can like would want to market or discuss because we only have the ability to do it when we really, really need it. We'd love to do it more, I'm sure.
Okay, that's great. Your service department, pretty much it's top notch. I looked at it a little bit. We did some research on it, and it looks like very friendly. What's your employee retention in your
That
store?
one would be a little bit outside of my realm. I mean, I've only been here a short time and have a non-managerial role, but I see a lot of happy people that I work with, and that's a big thing when you're starting at a new place, So I was pleasantly surprised with the under rumblings from early on about how happy everybody is here.
Because like when you look at your customer retention, right?
Mhm.
The way if you can't retain your employees, you can't retain your customers.
Exactly.
So it appears like you guys have a good quality of reviews. You have a good quality of service. You got very good reviews on Yelp and all that, etc. And it appears like you guys have pretty much put together. It's a great organization.
I agree. Oh, for sure. Carfax top rated dealer, everything,
So we're very impressed with your store. We think that it's the right store for when a customer is looking for a car. That's where they should go.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
And I realize that you're part of a pretty good group out in Jersey, and pretty impressed with that automotive group.
Oh yeah, me too, for sure. And it's just all about being in a position where you're with people who really resonate what my brand is, right? Like I wouldn't fit in a city dealer, right? Like if you go up the road, I'm not a suit and tie guy. Even when I was in management, I wish I was. I'd love to be more refined. And it's not even about that part. It's about the relationship. Like if I touch one person, I hope that person is going to be a deal. I hope that there's not a reason why we couldn't make that a deal. That is my mindset, right? Every person. If you had a problem with how a process went down, the first person I call is the next day. Hey, you got any questions? Hey, man, can you come back in? Let me take a look at this again. You know what I mean? Like every person is a person, not a number. And being at a small dealer is where I've always fit in, right with my style. And I feel like people prefer that as well. So that helps me as well.
That's great. And you know what? I really like what you're doing out there. I encourage more and more people like yourself to do that because that's important to customers. Very, very important. Next week we got an auto broker coming in, and he does the same thing you do, more or less, and he really, really does the right thing by customers. And it's impressive how in today's world, more and more of that is going on, not just in the automotive sector, in different types of sectors. It's all about the video content. It's all about putting somebody as the face of that. When those customers come in, it's like more or less them, like Jake Harris is very, very good at what he does with that. Like you do. You do very, very good, very formal, very educated, you bring in your customer, and that customer knows who to reach out to when they get into the store, because at the end of the day, that purchase, it's getting not like a home, but it's one of the highest purchases there is, So I'm going to go in there and get a car and lay out $30,000+, $40,000. I'm going to make sure, what I'm getting. So it's a very important decision when you got to lay out that kind of money. And the biggest thing is there's a depreciation factor when you buy this kind of commodity, right? Because an automotive is a commodity, right? So there is a depreciation with it. So you have to make sure you're getting it from somebody like yourself or somebody like your store and your dealership, but somebody that represents that product line to the customer like you do. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Oh no, and I definitely agree. And I think that like to add to that and to really show like how I operate and kind of the direction I go in is like another youth revival that I'm trying, right? Like it's not a I think about when I was a youth and I think about these kids who are buying cars for the first time. And I'm talking more about the kids 19, 20, 21, young adults, they want to know, they want to be educated on the process. And if I take what I do with them and I mold that all across the line, that's really all that I'm doing around the line. So if a young buyer understands the process, that's going to like totally change the way they think about buying a car. And then they're going to enjoy the process, like actually go afterwards, and tell all their friends like, hey, you need to go over here and try to buy a car because you can really understand like what it's like. Like I'm not pre-qualifying a young person, and it goes off of what I learned really on in the car business. I was learning from a couple of guys on the floor, and I remember a guy saying, man, I didn't know he was a referral. You should have let me know. I would have treated him, pretty much saying I would have treated him as such. And that was the first day I said, I'm going to treat every person I ever touch like a referral so I never have to run into that. And that was just from day one, the way that it took my mindset, business.
It is very interesting how you go online, go on videos, and give tremendous value to a customer. Like if I'm a customer, right, and I'm in the market for a vehicle, I would want to go see somebody like you that I can get educated on the purchase of my car. Whether I buy it from you or not, at least I'm going to give you a shot because of that knowledge base that you have and how you funnel it right into doing the right thing by your customers. And you can see it on your reviews, on your pages, on your likes. You can see that you're doing as community guy, right?
Yeah.
And that's important, man, because the community needs more and more people like yourself.
Yeah. And that's what you want to be a part of, right? You want to say things. That's what I wanted to be. That's what I want the process to be. I've always seen that the happiest buyers are the most least non-confused buyers, so it's always about education. It's always about working at your pace. I'm not here to muscle you in the car. I'm not here to make you buy anything you don't need. Right. So that's the message early on. Let's have a good time. Let's learn as much as we can today. And whenever you're ready, we'll be ready to make a decision.
I'm so glad that you brought this up about the confusion because, when you first touch a customer, the customer is always going to say no. Now, that's a normal thing. Why do they say always no? Because a confused mind says no, right? And when you start the process that you have, that's the difference between a no and a yes. Because they're confused. They don't know. What should I do? Should I get my money on cash? Should I get the finance? They might be telling you no because of that, because they don't even know their finances yet, right? How are they going to pay for it, right? So, no, I got to think about it. The answer is no, and we've noticed that within that no, there becomes a yes. Just like a lot of people get confused with failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the process to success. Big difference.
Oh yeah.
The no is the same way. The no is the process to the road to the sale, to the yes. That's what the no is. It's just a process. It's not a negative, but sometimes we take it as a negative.
Yeah, and I agree. And like early in my career, like I always bring out and shout out sales hustlers and the guys that we were really about breaking the misconceptions, the car business, and really just trying to rebuild these real life, like, you know, experiences for customers to make them not think of us this way. That was like almost the goal of the group, right? And he used to say something in the morning, Sean Hayes, I used to listen to every day. And he said, think about when you go into a clothing store and you want a pair of shoes. You know what shoes you have on your mind. You already kind of know what you want to do. As soon as the guy comes up to you and says, hey, man, can I help you find something? You're like, nah, I'm good. I don't know about anybody else, but that's a natural reaction going right off of what you said. Everybody has that reaction. If I can get somewhere out of that reaction early on before it bothers anybody, then that's the win. And I've had that mindset going in. I even say it to young guys, I say it to everybody, like, think about it. When you walk up, that's exactly what we do.
And I mean, that's true, because what you just said, you made a very valid point, you know, and it's important what you're doing now to help this customer. We wanted to get on here and share what a great job you're doing and how you're helping your community out. When we see somebody helping their community out, it means a lot to us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
And you're really doing a great job. And I know how much time it takes to make videos, to edit videos, to send it out to your people, to do that and all that kind of stuff. It's time consuming and it's a lot of effort on our part and your part, especially. You got tremendous effort doing what you're doing with that audience you've built. And congratulations on building that really nice audience.
I appreciate it. Yeah. And I do all my own editing and all my own videos. So it does take a lot. I'm glad you said that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Takes a lot of time to do that. And, you know, and you're doing that, giving back to your community, you know, and that's an important thing. At least you're giving back to your community.
Yeah. Yeah. And community cargo has always been a part of, I was trying to do, you know, community cleanups and a big part of the surfing community growing up. And I live right near the beach. I take my kids. So, you know, it's trying to be a whole lifestyle thing. And that's what I wanted to teach them, to get a part of that out. But when it comes to like the car business, like as long as I can stay like true to my concept and keep the customer first, it'll always work out the way it is.
You see it, people love you. People are out there, you know, they love you. They like your stuff.
Thank you so
and,
much.
you know, people are impressed with you and you're doing a great job with your community. And I tell you what, man, you keep it up. You're giving so much value to your own community. And that's important when somebody gives that kind of value to their community and help people purchase a vehicle, which is one of the really expensive today. It's really difficult today. Not everybody has that kind of money today.
And that's part of my job, right? Is to find what works for you. You may not know. So come see me. If you don't have a car guy, let me be it, man. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey. Come to Avalon Honda. We love to take care of you all through the process. So definitely.
And we thank you so much, Chris, for coming on board. And we really appreciate what you're doing out there in your community and to your customer base and to these potential customers and to your current customers. And we thank you for joining our live podcast.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.